I've waited 30 years for this. I still remember my last orders. The day the real war began.
The rebellion cannot be allowed to persist.
We weren't expecting special forces.
That's the point, Sergeant.
Impossible.
Commander, what do we do now?
We avenge our Emperor.
Resistance. Rebellion. You will burn these ideas away.
Hope cannot save them!
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Playable Kylo Ren, playable Luke Skywalker. Let's break this down. If you're new to the channel, I do Star Wars every week, so be sure to subscribe to get everything. And I probably do a giveaway for the game when it gets closer to coming out, but it's not coming out till November 17th. They do have pre-orders available now. The special edition gives you this extra content. I'll let you pause the video if you want here, but it's the pretty standard deal. Just like a little bit extra, more skins, more characters, more toys to start out with. But the character that's featured in the trailer that seems like the main character, she's one of the main characters, but I'll explain how you can actually play as Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker in the campaign mode. So even though one of the big stories is centered on her, you can play as other characters. But she's called Iden Versio. She's the leader of this special squad called Inferno Squad. She was raised like Finn and a lot of the other Force Awakens stormtroopers in complete isolation in this Imperial utopia where they just got them to believe every last drop of Imperial doctrine. So she is hardcore Empire flag waver. In the story, as you can see, picks up after the destruction of the second Death Star in the Battle of Endor. The story will cover the rise of the First Order as the Empire descends into chaos, but the story is supposed to cover that giant 30-year period between Episode 6 and Episode 7. It'll also incorporate a lot of the expanded universe they've started rewriting now, so Operation Cinder is a big event in the game. If you don't know what that is, it takes place right after the Battle of Endor. It's one of Emperor Palpatine's contingency plans, and it was part of the journey to The Force Awakens. So remember how they wrote a couple books that explained a little bit about what happened between the trilogies? This was one of those stories. So it just involves the scouring of Naboo and a bunch of other planets. So what a coincidence that the character, Iden Versio, is the leader of something called Inferno Squad. So this is what she means when she says she's waited 30 years for this, and they show the First Order base. So this is covering all that time. And if you're wondering who this red character is, if you didn't read the Shattered Empire story, this mysterious hologram of Emperor Palpatine appears and tells these Imperial officers, you've been selected for a very special task, and that's what leads into Operation Cinder. So it's not necessarily the Force spirit of Palpatine, it's just part of his contingency plan. He has multiple ways of living on beyond his death that go way beyond Sith technology. So this was more of a technology solution to that, as opposed to the Dark Empire solution where he just transferred his spirit into a clone of himself. So obviously, this being a game a couple years after the last Battlefront game came out, the graphics, the gameplay look a little bit better, a little bit tweaked. I think they tried to fix a lot of the multiplayer experience, but the multiplayer battles are what they're also hyping up here, where you see Yoda fighting Darth Maul. And because it's timed with the 40th anniversary, this obviously covers all eras of Star Wars. So you see bits here from the classic trilogy, you see bits from Force Awakens, from the end of that 30-year wait. They haven't said exactly which characters are playable yet, but Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren were the big other characters. So this is all about the rise of the First Order, beginning at the destruction of the second Death Star. So let me know what you guys think of this. I do like the idea of all this extra content spanning all these eras as opposed to the first game that came out that was a little more simplistic, and hopefully they fix some of the people's complaints about the microtransactions and crippled versions of the game. I think they get a little better with each new release, but like I said, it's coming out in November, right before Last Jedi comes out. There'll be Last Jedi DLC that they'll integrate at the last minute. And if you do want to know some of the stuff that happened during the Rise of the First Order, I did that other Battlefront 2 trailer video where I explained that. I'll just add a link to that at the end of this. But that mostly explains the Aftermath series and some of the big arcs about how the First Order slinked away into the unknown regions and what happened before they came back in the rise of Snoke. So we don't know how big Snoke is going to be during this Battlefront series, but it seems like if he does get involved, it's going to be relatively late in the main campaign mode, just because you start out with the destruction of the second Death Star. In 30 years is a big, long campaign, so it'll be fun to see how they jump through time as you jump through different stages of the game. But what's going to happen next is they did drop a Rebels Season 4 trailer. It's the final season of Rebels.
It was a simple story about a boy who was lost and a girl who was broken. They fought alongside a survivor, a war veteran, and a fallen knight. I led them into battle against an evil so terrible it tried to black out the stars. We fought for each other. We fought for those who could not. But we never imagined it would end like this.
But there is going to be a new animated series that they'll roll out that'll probably be set during the sequel trilogy. They haven't announced a whole lot about that, but I'll explain when I post that Rebels video. I'll try to get that out later tonight, but I've been doing so many videos that if I don't get it done in time, then I'll just post it early Sunday morning. So Rebels Season 4 trailer coming next. While you wait for that, you can click here for the Last Jedi trailer, and you can click here for brand new Thor Ragnarok. Thank you so much for watching. Let's high five. I'll see you guys in the next video.